If you're looking for player prop recommendations backed by AI, then you're in the right place. Welcome, everybody. Let's dive right into our data driven picks for week 6 of the NFL season. Starting with John, what do you have for us today?
Well, I'll say this. If this bet misses, I'd be more surprised than a Browns fan watching a win this season. Also, for those of you checking the calendar, there's only a few weeks left to bet Kyler Murray's overs. Call of Duty comes out on October 25th, so mark your calendars, people. I'm going to take Kyler Murray's rushing over 4.5 rushing attempts. He's 4 out of 5 this season. He had 7 last week versus San Fran. Green Bay gives up tons of rushes to mobile QBs. And actually non-mobile QBs too. Sam Darnold had 7. Jalen Hurts had 13 against them. And I know he puts up a lot of rushing attempts, but Kyler definitely does as well. So I love the EP score on this, 95.19. The EP model also projects him to have 8.33 rushes. So that's enough clearance for me to definitely take this bet over 4.5. And that's my bet of the week. What do you guys think?
I love it. I think it's a great play. I'm a big fan of rushing overs for running back or for quarterbacks, whether it's rushing attempts or yardage. When it comes to very competitive games, or at least games where some of these teams are going to have to play up, and I think the Cardinals are going to have to play at their best if they want to beat Green Bay in Green Bay. So I think this is going to be a situation where Murray and the Cardinals are going to pull out all the stops, and definitely like this play a lot over 4.5 rushing attempts. And obviously, as you mentioned, too, the EB score is certainly talking to us on this one.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Kyler always running for his life, little legs, real fast, especially on that grass. They're not playing on turf no more. I think Green Bay got the grass, so maybe better for his knees and his ankles. And he like you said, he's running to that video game console. So y'all better it's the last time.
Yeah. Green Bay's always got that brown grass that looks like it's older than the stadium, but kudos for them for doing the grass. It can be done. Do it in every stadium in the NFL already. Why don't you? They have water running underneath it, so it doesn't freeze, so it's never too hard on game days. So new Bill Stadium getting real grass instead of turf. So that's a step in the right direction for sure. Now they just gotta tear up the turf at MetLife. That's gonna take too many ACLs before its life is over. But anyway, B-Dot, what you got cooked up this week? What's your best bet?
I got my guy Spencer Rattler. Under 19.5 completions. A rookie quarterback, starting the big game. I mean, he's at home, so I think that will help him, but I don't think he surpasses over 19.5 completions. They have a pretty decent running back in New Orleans that I think they can rely on, and blanket Spence. Plus Spence is also, if anything, I didn't see Spence's rushing yards over on the app, but I'm pretty sure on any of the other betting sites, I think you should bet over in that, because I think they're going to put some plays that get Spence more mobile to get him comfortable, just instead of just throwing the ball so many times. And I got him with 15 completions. I got him 15 for 23. 212 yards. I think he has a pretty great first game. As a rookie quarterback, but they're going against a very good, Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that's coming off. They're actually coming off a loss, right? Yeah. Did I predict that, or they're coming off a win?
No, they're coming off that Thursday night loss that you called with the.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, because I didn't get to talk about it the pod before. But
you set me up, B-Dot. You set me up. Come on.
So yeah, man, I'm going with Spence under 19.5 completions, and man, the EP store it hardly gets any better than that, man. How you guys feel about it?
I love it, man. Definitely, we kind of played this card with Malik Willis earlier in the season when, first time starting quarterback lines come out. They're kind of more similar to the previous quarterback that came before them. And I think this offense is going to look a lot different. They're definitely going to try to insulate him. You've got a huge weapon in Alvin Kamara that you can, run the crap out of, and they have no problem, sending him for 25 attempts a game. So yeah, I love this play. And again, even if he puts up 25 attempts, I don't see him, having over a 75% completion percentage in this matchup. So I love it.
I like it too. If I'm not mistaken, from what I was reading about this whole quarterback situation, the quarterback, I don't remember the gentleman's name, who stepped in for Derek Carr in the fourth quarter. But apparently they decided to go with Rattler this week instead of him because the offensive line is just decimated, and they want a guy back there who can have the ability to move the pocket and even run. So I think this just sets up perfectly for this sort of play. they're not even going with their second string guy because they're just worried that he's not going to have enough time to throw the ball. So, that combined with, like you said, the Malik Willis take earlier, him being a rookie quarterback coming into an odd situation, I don't see him getting 20 completions. So definitely love this call from you, B-Dot.
Yeah, and there's always the possibility that they pull him if they don't like what they're seeing. They got that other guy on the bench that they can put in at any point. So that's another thing I like to consider when you're betting unders like this.
Definitely.
But yeah, Tyler, what you got cooked up this week?
Yeah. So for me, this one is going to be like taking candy from a baby. I'm taking Saquon Barkley over 18.5 rushing attempts. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the Cleveland Browns defense, they've been horrendous in just about every aspect of stopping the run, ranking near the bottom of the league in rushing touchdowns, yardage, as well as attempts. Now, looking at the Eagles side of things, following 2 losses and coming off a bye, you've seen the Philadelphia media and fans screaming at Sirianni to give Barkley the ball and to get him more touches, especially since he's been pretty much the only productive guy on offense that they've had recently with some of their injuries in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Now, looking specifically at the app, this prop has a 99 EP score, and it's probably one of the highest scoring props of the week on the app. And some of these 99 EP scores have done well recently. I think John can even admit to that with his Geno Smith attempts over on the Thursday night game this week. So to bring it all together, based on this matchup, Barkley's lack of touches recently, and our data and our model for the Elite Picks app, I think the Eagles are going to make it a priority to feed Saquon Barkley the rock. So give me the over on this rushing attempts. I've got him getting over 23 rushes. This is just a perfect situation for a perfect bet, in my opinion.
I love it, man. I love it. Look at the EP score, man. That's really all you need to see. Again, like the rule is, as long as it's not Justin Jefferson's under, you're good on the 99.99 EP scores for sure.
No, yeah, I got Barkley over on yards, so I feed the beast. This, especially against that Cleveland, and they're going to be in Philly, and it's an early game. Not gonna be cold at all. Great day. He can finish the game early, go do some squats, and then head home and have a good meal. So it's a hell of a pick, Ty. Hell of a pick.
Let's hope it certainly works out. I appreciate you guys. All right, so next up, we are going to cover. I believe we're going to look at our parlay challenge. Each of us are going to put in a parlay for this week. So, John, I know you've been in the kitchen, man. Tell me, what do you have cooked up for us this week?
Well, I definitely cooked up something good for this one. I was about to add a 4th leg, and then I saw the final odds. I was like, no, that's okay. I'm going to stop there. So anyway, also, I just, I want to have, some realistic parlays here because it's spicy, but I want it to hit. And last week we did that. We had a hit at plus 500. So whether you bet $5 on it or $100, you had a good win there. So we'll see if we can capitalize on that and do that again this week. Starting off with an alt line, which might be kind of wimpy, but I went with DJ Moore, 50 plus yards. 2 words, Jacksonville defense. That's all you need to know. Next up, we got Derrick Henry, over 83.5 rushing yards. He's hit this for 4 games in a row, and the Commanders are 30th in rush yards allowed, so it sets up perfectly. And lastly, we have Darnell Mooney, over 48.5 reception yards. Also hit this 4 times in a row, and also, Carolina defense is what he's going up against, and they are second worst in yards per attempt allowed. So these are kind of matchup based and consistency based, but all very high EP scores for these. Final odds plus 420. So bet 100, win $420.19. It's not exactly plus 420, I guess. But yeah, what do you guys think of that stack?
Money, man. That's man. Look, I'm making this play. I need a new alternator. So I appreciate this, John. And yeah, man, you got a couple of those guys I have in my parlay too. So it's hell of a choice, hell of a picks.
Thanks, man. Tyler, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I like this a lot, especially the DJ Moore play. It seems like Caleb Williams has been getting better each week over the last, I would say, 3 weeks. So this is a situation, like you said, especially with how bad Jacksonville is defensively, especially when it comes to the pass game. So love that play. Derrick Henry, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And he's just been running all over everybody. So until until they really blow up this line to make it not worth it. Continue to roll with Henry. And I love the Moon, man. This guy's been getting more and more exposure over the last few weeks, so I hope he can continues it and it continues to be a good option for Captain Kirk.
For sure. And if plus 420 odds are not spicy enough for you, instead of adding another leg to this, I would go up with DJ Moore's number if you want to make it a little bit spicier, because this is kind of the setup that I had with the Nico Collins play against the Jacksonville defense a couple weeks ago. I had a Nico Collins ladder against them, and then I hit it up to, he had like 150 yards. I wouldn't go that high with DJ Moore, maybe 110 max. But definitely you can take a straight up over for some closer to even odds, and then maybe like 80 plus yards or something like that, and then you'll up the 3-leg parlay odds probably somewhere in the plus 600 to plus 800. You can get over plus 1,000 if you really want to go crazy, but I like that play there. Definitely, betting against the Jacksonville defense and the Washington defense is how I've made a lot of money so far this year on betting this stuff. So, but I was gonna say, B-Dot, what you got cooked up in the parlay department? I hear you went a little bit crazier than I did, for sure.
Parlay, if it ain't risky, man. So look, man, I got Jamar Chase coming off a hell of a game last week. Dak Prescott, come on now, he's gonna be throwing the ball 40 plus times, so he's 2 touchdowns, and via prize pick, you got Goblins and Demons, and Goblins mean it's like the little wimpy pick that means it should be guaranteed. Joe Burrow just went crazy. He turned into Joe Burr last week, so I'm feeling he's gonna follow this up with another 3 touchdown performance. As as Ty was telling me, as Tyler was saying and Caleb was saying, how DJ Moore has been playing well. I think Caleb Williams has been, he's found that connection, and that's his guy. So last week he had 2 touchdowns, and he's going against Jacksonville defense. So shout out to John for always giving me those Jacksonville, Washington Commanders type defensive picks, because they usually hit. We got Justin Tucker. I feel as though this is going to hit just because the Baltimore Ravens aren't that well in the red zone. They have a lot of empty drives, and Justin Tucker, he just I think got his groove back. You feel me? He was 0 for 2, 0 for 4 on the season with 50 plus yards kick, hit that 54-yarder, to take him into overtime. So I feel as though Justin Tucker gonna get at least 3 field goals popping in this. And Jalen Hurts going against that Cleveland defense. Shout out to John again, always giving me analytical facts about the Cleveland defense. I feel as though that he's gonna, I think he's going to have no more than 7 rushing attempts, because I think the Philadelphia Phillies will handle him handily. And you don't need to run that much when you got Saquon and right there behind you, brother. So, and come on, man, $100 turn to $2,400. Man, listen, bro, that's rent. That's rent. That's that car alternator I was telling y'all about. And I need some new tires, and my AC stopped working, and my oil change light just came on. So this 124 is gonna go crazy, and this B-Dot parlay of the week.
I love it. That this parlay is tighter than the Cowboys salary cap situation. I love it. That's a good. Also, I hope someone else is changing your alterator for you. If
man, that 2006 Honda, man, it was different back then. So almost 20 years ago.
2006 Honda, that thing will run forever. Definitely hang on to that thing.
That's why I got to get this new alterator, man.
You could probably, with this win, you could buy a 2006 Honda, I think, not just an alternator.
According to Credit Karma, my Honda's only worth $2,300. So this is, that would happen. And that was not a sponsored plug, by the way. But Credit Karma, if you do want to throw some bread, hey, man, come on now. What you got cooked up for us, Ty?
Yeah, definitely not getting as spicy as your parlay in terms of the amount of legs that there are. But did go with a 4-leg parlay here. A couple quarterbacks, a couple wide receivers. Wanted to start off with Lamar Jackson over 1.5 touchdowns. All we need is 2. He's really been cooking in terms of passing touchdowns over the last couple weeks. I know John loves to talk about the Commanders and how there's just so many holes in that defense. So I expect Lamar Jackson to really be able to eat, and in terms of passing, so definitely expect him to get 2 touchdowns. After that, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown over in receiving yards. This game has shootout potential, in my opinion, and the games that the Lions have shootouts in, Amon-Ra St. Brown is typically the guy that eats. So after a couple sort of okay weeks, I expect him to come out and have over 100 yards receiving in this game. Next, after that, I took a play out of John's playbook there and went with Kyler Murray over 4.5 rushing attempts. I just think this is too big of a game for them to not pull out all the stops and to let Murray be able to use his legs as a threat, as well as his arm. And then last and certainly not least, I'm going to go with Mike Evans over 58.5 receiving yards. He's reached this player prop number or over it in 3 of the last 4 contests against the Saints. So the Saints have a backup quarterback, a rookie quarterback coming in. And I also like to try to take as much emotional ammo as I can. State of Florida has been dealing with a bit of a hurricane. I think the Bucs are going to come out guns hot and are going to want to support support the state of Florida and specifically that Tampa area and to come out and to get a W. And I think they're going to do that by feeding Mike Evans. So with this 4-pick parlay, you're looking at around a plus 914 odds. So a $20 bet's going to win you roughly $200. So not going to pay off an alternator, not going to pay off a car, but might be able to pay a dinner bill for you or maybe a car insurance bill. So give me this 4-pick parlay. Tell me, gentlemen, what do you guys think?
I love it, man. And bet 100, pay back 1,000 pretty much. So, you can buy whatever you want depending on how much you put on this, but I love it. I think that this is like, the only thing that could wreck this parlay is the running backs in some of these matchups too. Like as long as Derrick Henry doesn't go off and take away touchdowns from Lamar Jackson. And as long as, the passing offense of Detroit is still present versus Dallas and Dallas doesn't take a week off from rushing defense like they have in the past. But those are also two, the weak points of those defenses. It's just like which weak point is going to be weaker, right? And I think you're on the right side of that for sure. I would definitely take these over the running back props that are associated with those games. So I love it. And, I'm not going to argue with Kyler Murray over rushing attempts. Like you already know that I agree with that one. And I love the angle on the Mike Evans receiving yards. I wasn't even thinking about that, but you're absolutely right. Like that definitely does play into stuff. But
I like it too. I mean, it may not buy a new alternator, but it will pay for this high mileage oil change. Them things is $89 each now. So yeah, man, hell of a picks. Like I said, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you on Prize Picks. So I appreciate you on this. And Mike Evans had a hell of a game last week, so why not to top it off? You feel me?
Yeah, for sure. I love it. Also, you probably could get a cheaper alternator for $200. So maybe bet 25 to win 250 ish, and then you can buy your new alternator. But you got to put it in yourself. But
Yeah. Cause I don't even know. I just learned how to pump gas last week, man. What we got next on? Man, we got next going, man.
Yeah, definitely. Before we move on to the next segment, though, definitely want to shout out John for being the first parlay winner. We've done this about 2 or 3 times so far over the last few weeks, and John was able to cash his last week. So hopefully some of you were able to potentially tail on that and maybe decide to tail us on this one this week, because I know I'm looking to get my first W in the terms of parlays. So obviously with B Dot as well. But just wanted to shout out John there because, gotta let the folks know when we're getting on the board here.
We'll see if we can continue it. Hopefully we make it a streak.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. All right. Next up, we're now going to cover our community picks for this week, which were all voted on by Elite Picks users in the app. So, John, I'm going to start with you again. Is there any pick from the community here that sticks out for you for the quarterback position? Or I'm sorry, for any of the positions?
Yeah. I was going to say Washington at Baltimore, obviously that Washington defense showing up. Derrick Henry over in rushing yards. I already kind of mentioned this in my parlay as well. He's hit it. He's hit this line 4 games in a row, and the Commanders are 30th in rush yards allowed. I love how that sets up. He put up that number against the Bills in 1 rush. So he could certainly do it against a even less talented Washington defense. No offense, Washington. So yeah, I love that. I love how that sets up. And then Kyler Murray, a different spot than I had him in, but over that completion number in Green Bay, they could definitely be playing from behind in that high-powered Green Bay offense. As long as Jordan Love is hitting his groove, that has shootout potential as well. Weather dependent. It's always Green Bay. It's October, so you never know. But I would anticipate. He's going to be dropping back a lot. So hopefully he rushes and gets to that over on completions, but hopefully they're playing from behind with long drives so that both of those numbers can hit. But But yeah, that's what I like on here. What sticks out to you, B Dot?
I like the Dak Prescott over 38.5 passing attempts. Like Tom mentioned, man, it's going to be a shootout, and I think Dak is going to. They don't have the best running back situation right now, are they? I mean, they have pretty decent running backs, but they just haven't been as productive. And Dallas hasn't been a great team this year, so I feel as though they're going to be playing from behind. Versus that the Detroit Lions defense, and Dak is going to air that thing out. I'm looking at 45 passing attempts from Dak, and yeah, man, 45 passing attempts because he wants to make CeeDee Lamb happy. So CeeDee gonna get 16 targets this week. Watch.
Yeah, I was going to say Detroit's rushing defense is a lot stronger than their passing defense as well. So you see similar numbers from teams against them, especially paired with Detroit's high-powered offense that you got to keep up with. So it's a great angle for sure. Ty, you got anything?
Yeah, obviously, I know I talked a little bit about that Detroit-Dallas game. Like both of these overs, I think the Dak Prescott one, too, is one of the higher EP scores for all the passing attempts this week. So definitely like that. The A.J. Brown over 5.5 receptions is probably the most intriguing to me out of all the ones on this list. This is a guy who's been hurt for a few weeks. Philly's coming off a bye. I mentioned a little bit about some of their offensive woes. But I do love I believe this is plus money at 5.5 receptions. So
it is.
If this is a game that they decide not to favor and feed Saquon Barkley, I think you can expect a big game out of A.J. Brown and probably getting 6+ receptions, which is what we're looking for on this. So that one I'm going to be keeping an eye on, especially come Sunday, and I might sprinkle a little bit of dough on myself. Just because of the interesting aspect of these guys being hurt and their offense sputtering a bit. And now that they're getting these weapons back, how are they going to utilize them? Are they going to decide to sort of put the pedal to the metal, or are they going to decide to give other guys some opportunities like Barkley to let these guys get back to full health? But those are the three guys that really pop out to me from our community favorites.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Love that. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep this train moving, and we are now going to look at the Monday Night Football matchup, which is the Bills versus the Jets. But I want us to talk about our best player prop bets for this Bills and Jets matchup. So, John, talk to me. You are the resident Bills fan here. I need to know, what is your best bet for player prop for this Monday Night Football game?
Well, I hope nobody in Bills Mafia sees this, but I'm going to take Josh Allen's under on completions for this game. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to Josh, but he's been having a rough go of it lately. Teams have kind of figured out if you play single high safety with your corners in press coverage and man up, which is traditionally used to be the best coverage against Josh Allen. The Bills wide receivers don't really have the horses to get open quickly. They don't have quick twitch guys. They have zone beating guys. And so rather than playing the two high shell zone that usually was Josh Allen's kryptonite, now it's switched to a single high safety, cover up the middle of the field, and again, corners and press coverage. So he only had 9 completions last week, which was pitiful against a talented Texans defense, but a Texans defense that you should have been able to throw the ball on. And so I'm going to take him under 18.5 completions here. He's only cleared this line once this year, and that was against Jacksonville, where they were throwing the ball all over the yard. So again, Josh is a great quarterback, so he gets a ton of respect, and that's why this line is where it is. But I think you got to call the books on this kind of stuff when you see a number like that he's only reached 1 out of 5 this season. So, and again, it's against a really stout Jets defense that Josh Allen historically has not had a lot of success at, and the Jets really excel at that kind of defense that is Josh Allen's kryptonite. So, if the Bills are going to win this game, it's going to be because they're going to get a couple of big plays here and there. They're going to have to establish the run at some point, which, James Cook is questionable for this game, and so is Khalil Shakir. So they might have a rough go of it, but I don't see Josh getting over, 19 completions here. So yeah, that's my best bet. Sadly, I still like them to win the game. Spoiler alert for our game picks there, but I'm going to take Josh's under. What do you guys think?
I like it. With all the facts you just gave, man, yeah, makes 100% sense. I'm playing it.
Sweet. Yeah, I was going to say, I usually stick to the pretty high EP scores, but obviously picking a single game slate, you don't have a ton of 95s floating around. And this is one that, when you dig into it, really looks right for sure. But Tyler, you got any thoughts before we see what B-Dot's got cooked up?
Yeah, one thing that was that stuck out to me last week was no Khalil Shakur, who seems to be his favorite target. I know that it's kind of a everybody gets the ball offense, and in terms of the wide receivers, and there maybe isn't like a solidified wide receiver one, but you could tell that they were missing Shakir last week. So I'm certainly going to monitor if he's going to be playing, because if he's not, then I really like this because it just seems like he's a bit of his, I would say, more of a security blanket than Dalton Kincaid just from a target share standpoint. But less wide receivers out there for him means less opportunities to make completions and to build chemistry with guys. So, and this is like you said, that EP score is like right at that teeter mark per se, where it could go one way or the other, in my opinion. I took Brock Purdy's over touchdown reception or over touchdown passes for the Thursday night game, and it was right around the same score. So I kind of interpreted the score around that sort of thought, especially with these primetime games where we're just not going to have that much to choose from. But I love it, man.
For sure, for sure. Beta, what kind of angle are you looking at for Monday Night Football?
Man, you know I'm going with the Jets. Brees Hall over 52.5 rushing yards, 92.61 EP score. But you got to understand, man, that Bills defense been getting ran through more than a Tiana Trump video, man. But listen, this is just the way the Bills rushing defense has been playing this year is not been the best defense, and I think Brees Hall. I think he hits this. I think Brees Hall runs out of that thing with at least 73 yards. Bearing, if the Bills are up, I still think he's gonna, get some more touches. I feel that those Jets will be playing from behind. But you never know. They got rid of their head coach, Aaron Rodgers. Alwaski maybe gave the whole team something. They might just be playing freely. So and is at home. So even you never know. But I feel as though that Buffalo will be up majority of this game, and even then, you still got to rely on Brees Hall because Aaron Rodgers hasn't been the most accurate this year, and Brees Hall is a pretty solid security blanket to hand the ball off to, get a couple yards on those first downs, make those last two downs a bit easier to convert. Man, how do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, I like it. I'll tell you too. Like, I don't expect the Bills to run away in this game. For sure, it's a tight spread. It's a tight spread, but even expecting them to be up. I'm worried about it a little bit. I hope they're going to pull it out in the end, but I definitely don't think this is going to be a blowout by any means. Like, again, you said they're, team without a head coach the next week. Turns out usually they're a different team the week after. That's a good betting angle. So I'm worried about that. But no, I think New York is not going to have to worry about 2 touchdowns down and then just depending on Aaron Rodgers to sling it all over the yard. They'll definitely be able to run as much as they want, probably will into the fourth quarter of this one, I would think. But yeah, I like it.
Beta?
I like it too, man. I know this is a number that he was able to surpass in the first 2 or 3 games of the season. I know they played a couple tough defenses over the last couple weeks. I know they've had another running back sort of come in and take a few touches, but as John said, there's change within this organization. So I think they're going to lean on Brees Hall this week, knowing like when we had quarterbacks like Mike White and Zach Wilson, we were really able to lean into Brees Hall and take some of the pressure off of these quarterbacks. Now, yes, it's Aaron Rodgers, but he's not getting any younger. So I think that they may be willing to lean on the running game in the situation, especially based off of, John has told me in the past weeks that Buffalo really struggles when it comes to running or stopping the run. So this is a competitive game. I think this is an easy cash.
Yeah, love it. What's your Tyler? What's your best bet for Monday Night Football?
All right, folks, I'm going with Allen Lazard over 33.5 receiving yards. Now you're probably sitting there wondering, wait a second, didn't he take this receiving prop last week? And I did. I took this last Sunday for the morning game that was in London between the Jets and the Minnesota Vikings. Lazard ended up coming up about 1.5 yards short of cashing that player prop line, which is exactly the same this week at 35.5 receiving yards. But as they say, guys, scared money don't make no money. And I'm not afraid to go back to Lazard's receiving yards over prop this week. Lazard has surpassed this receiving yard prop in 3 of the last 5 games, and he's averaging 48 yards per game this season. If you also look back at last week, he had roughly 10 targets and only, I think, 3 or 4 receptions. So just one more reception will get him over this 35.5 number, in my opinion. Now, looking at the Jets, just as a whole, we've briefly mentioned, they just let go of Robert Saleh, and they've even changed who is going to be calling the plays on offense this week, which should give Rodgers and the offense a bit of some life, in my opinion, especially when the passing game isn't really where they want it to be. So what the bottom line is for me, based off of what our model is telling us, and the fact that Lazard has just gotten way too much of a target share for this number to be this low. So I'm going back to the Allen Lazard well, ladies and gentlemen. I am not afraid to go back to it. Back-to-back weeks, give me Allen Lazard over 35.5 receiving yards.
I love it. Fool me once, shame on the Jets. Fool me twice, still shame on the Jets. No, I like it. You're right. He did have like 10 targets. I watched him drop the ball like 3 or 4 times and just, I didn't even watch the entire game. He dropped a touchdown in that. So hopefully he and Aaron had a little talk, and Aaron's not going to stop going to him. He's known him for too long. This is not a rookie wide receiver where you'd worry about something like that. So again, with the targets he's getting, even if he gets a target reduction of 40%, I feel like he still hits this line. It was definitely a bad beat last week, and I think he hits this number against the Bills for sure. I was gonna say, Beat-Out, what do you think about that?
I totally agree. I never really go against analytical tie unless we're picking, who's going to win the game. But player prop wise, these receivers, yeah, this is Tyler's wheelhouse. So I 100% agree with you, brother.
Yeah, I had to choose that picture of him getting tackled by the t-shirt underneath, stretching it out.
And the last comment I'll make too is that, if I'm not mistaken, Mike Evans might be on the trading block, who is a guy who's sort of been competing with Allen Lazard in terms of snaps and even receptions. I mean, some of those receptions went to Mike Evans last week, and he got some targets. So even if you see, I don't know how that's going to bode necessarily for the prop this week, but it's just something to keep in mind in terms of who they're identifying on offense as guys they want to get the ball to, or specifically Rodgers, as you guys mentioned. So, but all right, awesome. Let's move on now to the actual game picks. So, John, are you ready to chuck some beers? Are you ready to smash some tables? Talk to me. Who do you like on this side?
Yeah, man, I did all that stuff this morning already. So, I'm just kidding. I'm scared about this game. Don't get me wrong, but I'm still going Bills minus 2.5. In New York, I'm really just like, my biggest hope is that the Bills make it out of this one with no injuries off of that scary MetLife turf. But again, like the Bills have I think they're now 14-5 coming off of a loss. They were 14-4 going into this past week, where obviously they lost their second straight. But I really do have faith in this team to rebound. New York Jets, they're just as desperate as the Bills are. So this is going to be the desperation bowl. And but I like the Bills to come out on top here. I still think that they're a better team all around than the Jets. There are definitely some parts of the Jets where you could say that they have a little bit more talent, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. I think they have an actual number one wide receiver in Garrett Wilson, who's been really coming into his own. So, but again, the Bills defense, despite who's playing out there and who's not, have always been pretty good at shutting down number one wide receivers, or at least limiting their numbers. So give me the Bills here. I think they win, but I think that they might just win by just a field goal. This could be a 23-20 game. This could be 20-17, somewhere in that range. I don't think it's going to be particularly high scoring either. Definitely a battle. But B-Dot, you agree with me, or are you going with your Jets chant again this week?
Well, the song goes, in New York, I merely rock, hide it in my sock. And I think that's what's going to happen to those New York Jets with the Buffalo Bills coming in town. That organization is pretty Millie Rockish right now. It's going one way, it's going another. You don't know what you're going to get. Like you said, you got a new person calling the plays, and I think it's still Aaron Rodgers. So hasn't been going well so far. And like John said, I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think that Buffalo secondary is really going to do what they do. Try to get back to those early week numbers. And yeah, the Jets, I don't think they haven't found it yet. You got the defensive player. What's my man's name? Sauce saying we're playing for coach. We're still playing for coach Salah. I don't know if I said his name wrong. I want to get it incorrect, but we're still playing for the previous coach. And Aaron Rodgers is like, man, F him, bro. You need to be playing for me. So that organization, I don't know if they're gonna get it together quite this early in the season. So I'm going with the Buffalo Bills plus 2.5. Minus 2.5. Sorry.
I was gonna say, if you're giving me points, I'll definitely take points from the Bills at this point. But Tyler, who you got?
I'm rolling with you guys. Let's go. This is going to be Three's Company again. We're taking Bills minus 2.5. Some of this stuff we've already touched upon, but look, guys, Jets just fired Bobby Saleh after week 5. Mid-season firings are generally not good. And I definitely don't think this solves all of their issues coming into this week. And looking at the Bills side, I just think this is a get-right game for them. They started off hot, but have played two good teams over the past couple of weeks that ended up resulting in losses. But I do see this as the perfect get-right game for them, with just how much of a circus the Jets have been, not only this year, but specifically this week with a lot of the changes. And not to mention the Jets do have a pretty good defense, but they can be worked in the running game. So I think that should bode well for James Cook or his backup if he ends up not playing, as well as Josh Allen, who I think is going to utilize his legs as long as those concussion symptoms are still not happening from last week. But for me, this one came down to which team has the better offense at this moment in time, and I got to go with Buffalo. So I'm taking Bills Mafia minus 2.5. Let's ride, boys.
I love it.
Bills. Bills. It don't really sound as yeah.
It's hard to get that second L in there,
Yeah, bro. You can cut that out if you want to. I'm sorry. I tried.
Heck no, I'm making a clip specifically out of that one for sure.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you all for watching. That's going to wrap it up for us today. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider liking and subscribing. It really does help out the channel, and we appreciate it greatly. Also, leave a comment to let us know what you'd like to see more of, maybe what player props you're going to be betting this week. And also, please be sure to take advantage of our free trial for the Elite Picks app. The link is in the description below. Good luck this weekend, everybody, and we will see you guys next time.